What's up everyone, 7-Star Mike here. Today I want to do a quick chart review. There's 8 tickers that I'm looking at that had something that stuck out to me. This isn't going to be one of those long drawn out explanations of each chart. I'm kind of just going to race through these, but there are some things I'm looking at that I think might be interesting and something to watch. So we're going to go ahead and get started with TRV. What I like about TRV is we had a gap down here. That level was support. And we broke just barely below that level today. So if that doesn't hold, we have support over here at this 130 area. There's not a lot of trading going on between there as far as resistance or support levels, maybe something in here at 131-ish. So we're looking for a $2 or $3 move down there if we get some red days in the future coming up here. TRV. Next up, I want to point out TEVA, T-E-V-A. The thing I like about this one is we had resistance here, we had resistance here, which we're above. So between this $10 and $11 area, we've got some action going on there. I'm going to pull this in real quick. We had some flow on TEVA today. There was a put on the bid and there were some calls on the ask. These are going out to February and March, so that's a good sign. Puts on the bid and calls on the ask are both bullish scenarios. So looking for this $10 to $11 move. If we get above that, this $12 area, which was resistance over here, would be the next target. After TEVA is Roku. I've been watching this one for a while. We've got this descending triangle here. High, lower high, lower high, lower high. If we zoom in, we've breached above it a few times. We've breached below this support area a few times, but we're just kind of still in that pattern. We can probably move a support line up here a little bit more, or sorry, the resistance line, but we're still holding this support level. We're still barely breaking above this kind of descending trend line here. So Roku, I'm kind of watching to see whether it's going to break out and go to the upside or to the downside. A descending triangle is typically a bearish pattern. There's some support over here and support over here, not much trading going on in between. So if we do get a drop out of this descending triangle to the downside, looking for potentially 116, and Roku is one of those tickers that can move. So there's some potential good movement to the downside if we do break below that descending triangle support line. Walmart, WMT, we had support over here, support over here. We tried to touch it today, but we got rejected. So we have some support down here, support down here. So 114.58, that mid 114 area is where we would be looking to see it potentially go to. It's 115.89, so that's not a big move, but if we get a drop below that, we're looking for potentially down here to the upper 112 area. The thing about Walmart, again, I'm going to pull some flow information over here. We have some puts coming in. Above the ask, above the ask. These are for February 7th. Earnings up here says February 18th. I don't know if that's a confirmed date yet, but we have February put flow ask and above the ask. And we have this potential support over here, which was support over here. If we break below that again, there's a good $2 or $3 move to the downside there. And if we add the 34, 55, and 89 exponential moving average, if we zoom in even further, you can see that we got rejected right there. So we're below all 3 of them. They're kind of stacked up, and we are below all 3 of those. Next up is eBay. We're going to keep those moving averages on there for now. You can see there again, we're below all 3 of them. They're kind of on a downward swing, so that could potentially act as a resistance. We did get rejected here. Let's make this a little bit easier to see. We got rejected here today, which was a support area all back in here. 1, 2, 3, support. And that's where we topped off today and then got rejected. We're also sitting on support, 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 support. So there's a lot of support at this mid 34 area. If we reject there and go down, we have a potential low over here. A 52-week low is 32.77, so there's a potential $2 move down there. There's a few candles stopping here in this mid 33 range, so we might see something there. If we pull some flow information over here, there were a lot of puts that we saw on the ask. Calls on the bid, that is a bearish scenario. Someone's either closing out of that position or writing the position. And then we saw some puts ask and above ask. So puts on the ask side and calls on the bid side are both a bearish scenario. And if we're looking at this support level to drop here, we've got some downside movement to support that. Next up, KDP. The thing I like about KDP is we have clear resistance over here, some support in here, resistance here, support here, and we're right at that line over here. So that's the mid $28 area. Whether it goes up or down, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see the future, but what I like is that we're sitting right above a prior support and resistance level. So we're hovering there. At this point, it's just a matter of watching to see which direction it breaks in. If we add that 34, 55, and 89, and again, if we zoom in a little bit, we're actually above all three of those. So if this 28.53 area holds, looking for an upside movement with potentially these exponential moving averages acting as support to the downside if we get any kind of a pullback. So my thought would be that we're going to start going upwards, but in this market, we just never know. So have a scenario for bullish or bearish. We're right on this support resistance line. So depending on which way it goes, we can take that direction with a quick stop loss above or below this line, depending on the direction that it moves. CRWD. We have clear resistance. We tried to break above it, but we couldn't. We're sitting just above that area again. So again, this is one of those trades that I like. We're right on a support resistance line, so whatever direction we take, if we're wrong, we can get out of the trade pretty quickly with minimal damage. So watching this $60 area to see what it does, we are, again, that exponential moving averages, we're above those. So there's a few things I like on that. And we're going to pull some flow in one more time. We have calls on the ask and puts on the bid. So that's all bullish scenarios. Puts on the bid, again, someone's either closing out that position or they're writing a position. In this case, because it's yellow, this particular scanner is telling me that that is above the OI in a single trade. So that means this is someone writing this position here. So someone's writing these puts, and this is calls on the ask. So that is all bullish information there. We're above these exponential moving averages. We're right on this support line. So if we can see that break, let's make this a little bit clearer. If we see that area break, obviously our first level to watch would be the 64 level where it peaked here. Above that, we've got the peak over here and support over here. Support became resistance, so that $70 area would be what I'm looking for there. And last one, we're going to wrap this up with MGM. Not a super strong ticker for me here, but what I like about this is clear resistance on a nice pop over here. Support over here, we touched it today and got rejected today. So this 3168 area, looking at that as potential longer term resistance. So if we test it again, maybe get rejected again, we can take it to the downside. There is some support over here in the $31 area. Below that, we've got here in the $30 area. So we're not talking, $6, $7, $8 moves here. But if this 3168 holds as resistance, we do have some downside movement there that we can look forward to. That's it for today. Really quick analysis. I wasn't going to spend a lot of time on these charts, but if you have no idea where to start tomorrow, hopefully here are some potential tickers for you to look at and trade. On that note, happy trading.